Hello, this is Jeff. How are you? Good, good. I'll just introduce everyone and then we can get on with the podcast. If that's okay? So we're here with Sanjeev. There's 4 people in the room with us. We have Lily, Marvin, Andrew, and Jeff.
Hi.
Hello.
And the podcast we're doing today is on what it's like to be a vegetarian in America. So we're just wondering, are there any particular stereotypes about being vegetarian in America? Sanjeev?
Actually, it often depends where you live in America, because I live in California, and California, there are a lot of the IT companies and Silicon Valley, so there are quite a few Indians here, and so there's a lot of vegetarian option. That is one thing. Second thing is that a lot of people here have actually become health conscious, and they're adopting the healthy lifestyle, and a lot of people are actually either giving up meat altogether or trying to eat as much vegetarian as possible.
Okay. And are there any particular health stereotypes about being vegetarian in America?
People who are not aware, they all ask the same question: where do you get your protein from, and stuff like that. But in general, it is, at least in California, I didn't see anything of that nature, because there are quite a few vegetarians here.
Let me ask you a personal question. Are you a vegetarian yourself, or?
Yes, I've been vegetarian since I was 11 year old or something.
Okay, that's interesting.
I started as a non-vegetarian, then I changed to vegetarian when I was in high school.
Oh, that's very interesting. That's very unusual. Is for a young child to make that decision. How did you come about doing it?
For me, it was actually impact of Mahatma Gandhi. So when I was in high school, then there was a story of Mahatma Gandhi that was narrated to me by my teacher.
Right.
And it was about Mahatma Gandhi actually getting into some other because he was from a vegetarian family, but he got in touch with some of his friends who were actually encouraged him to eat meat, and he started eating meat.
Right.
And then he confessed this thing to his father, and then it is very emotional, because he got very emotional about this thing, because it was something his father didn't expect him to do, because his family was vegetarian, and he started eating meat, and he confessed this thing to his father, and tears came from his eyes. So that story was very moving for me as a young child, and I thought, if Mahatma Gandhi is great and he's saying people should be vegetarian, and he was so moved by this thing, and the tears came from his eyes. So that was a very moving story, and that changed my whole perspective towards the food and a lot of other things. It was not just being vegetarian; it was about non-violence. It was about it was not just eating food; it was also being non-violence verbally and also in lifestyle. It was much more than just being vegetarian.
Oh, that's really fascinating. And because you did it at such young age, I mean, was it not tempting to go back to it? Like, did you not miss the taste of...
Because I kept on thinking about this thing. There are two things. One thing is that some people become vegetarian because they are born in a family of vegetarians. I have seen a lot of those people, they come to the United States, they change also. Many of my friends I've seen, they came from vegetarian family and they start eating even beef after coming to the United States.
Right.
Whereas in my case, I have kept on thinking about why I'm vegetarian. And once you're convinced why you're vegetarian, then you're not affected by others, because if the feelings comes from inside, then that feeling is much stronger than if someone comes and convinces you.
Yeah, it's very interesting because, like I said, it's a matter of conviction. It's also, other things like geographical, what kind of environment, social aspects of it, what your family thinks. And I think what you're saying is quite relevant because, these things are about how people feel about you while you're living in America. And how long have you lived in America for right now?
Oh, quite a few, maybe 15, 16 years.
Oh, that's a long time then, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. So how has it been? I mean, if you said more that outside your social circles, when you step out generally, how do you think is it for you to be a vegetarian generally? Is it normally easy to, for example, get vegetarian options in restaurants and stuff on the menus?
Very easy actually. In California, it is very, very simple. But no, there's no problem. I never had any problem. In fact, the only place I had a problem was when I went to Asia, in some place like Korea or Japan. But at least in US and even in Europe, I never had any problem. And I remember that when I was going to, people say, oh, how do you marry in Europe and other countries? I say, I never had any problem. Everywhere I go, there are vegetarian options. There are Indian restaurants, there are Italian restaurants, there are Thai restaurants, and every restaurant they have some vegetarian options.
Hi Sanjeev, it's Marvin here. I just wanted to ask about, let's say, the acceptability. Do you tend to get yourself into situations where you seem to be doing a lot of convincing and explaining to people? Are there a lot of questions asked, either from people who don't agree with you or people who are just curious to find out why you're a vegetarian?
Yes, but I have seen as I mentioned before, unless the feeling comes from inside, you cannot convince someone else. So I try to make logical argument. I say how we are connected at a spiritual level. When I explain with the yogic this principle that the yoga, they say we have several layers. The most gross level is the physical level, and subtle at the gross level is the mind, and then subtle that mind is intellect, and subtle and intellect is the soul. And at the soul level, at the spiritual level, at spirit level, at soul level, we are all connected. So we can, when you feel that, when you have developed that feeling, that you feel that you're connected to all other living beings also, and then you don't want to kill them.
Do people tend to listen to it when you explain in a certain way, when you show the scientific evidence of the benefits of being a vegetarian?
It depends. Sometimes people are convinced actually when they see the cruelty towards animals, they can relate because it is a human being. We can relate to animals, right? People keep pets and all those things, so they have built some relationship with animals. So when they see animal being killed and in a cruel fashion, sometimes it has an impact.
Hi Sanjeev, it's Andrew here. So about that, in the US, are you familiar with any movement for animal rights or anything similar like that? Do you know
Yes,
of anything?
definitely.
Okay, so
Definitely.
what's your opinion on them?
There is a San for Vegetarian Society. I went to one of their event, and they have this, I think, organization called PETA.
Yeah, PETA.
PETA, yeah. So that is there, and there are quite a few actually. I mean, at least in California, a lot of people are actually attracted by Eastern thoughts, philosophy, and a lot of people are vegetarian actually. Especially if you come to California, you will never have any problem finding vegetarian food, and a lot of people are getting attracted. A lot of movements, and a lot of people are very conscious about these things. So, at least in California, I can say that people are very aware of these things, and there are some people becoming for health reasons, and some also becoming because of because they're convinced that this is not the right thing to do, and animals also have rights.
Yeah, it's very interesting, Sanjay, because the truth is, I must confess, we did not know that you were a vegetarian. So, we just wanted an opinion from a person who could or could not be a vegetarian, just as an American living in America, how you perceive. I mean, there's so many films that we watch, and there's like jokes made about how vegetarians will eat a bowl of salad, and that's their staple meal, which is incorrect. So it was more about exploration of the perceptions and whether it's possible. But clearly you seem to think it's very, very possible, because for us living here in Europe, like you said, it's very easy because things are really changing, and more and more vegetarian options are on the menu, for example, if you go to restaurants and things. But it's very encouraging to see that the other side of the pond as well, that you've got a similar kind of a story going on.
Yes, definitely. Especially in California, it's very different actually. California, you have so many options, and people know what is to become a vegetarian. And I met so many people. I met a Swedish guy who works with me in my company, and he's vegetarian. So I was in Germany, in Düsseldorf, and I met a German guy, and he was vegetarian. I said, "Why you're vegetarian?" He said, "I'm a human being. I'm not a lion or something, or a tiger that I have to eat meat." So I was very surprised that a person living in Germany and growing up in Germany, and he's a vegetarian.
Yeah.
And it is not that he's vegetarian because of a religious belief. It's just the feeling came from inside.
Yeah.
Similarly, I remember in grad school, I met a Greek student. He was from Greece, and he's vegetarian. I said, "Why you're vegetarian?" He said, "From very childhood, I never felt that I should be eating meat."
Wow, it's been such a pleasure to talk to you, Sanjeev. It's been really, really enlightening because, like I said, we did not know how it is other side of the pond, but it's beautiful listening all these ideas from you, and it's nice to know that you're a vegetarian as well. So yes, I really enjoyed it. So good luck with everything you've got going, and thank you so much for joining us for a podcast, and hopefully we'll chat with you one more time.
Sure, it was my pleasure talking to you, and it's interesting that a lot of more and more people are moving towards this thing, and they are thinking about other living beings also.
Thank you so much, Sanjeev. It's been brilliant chatting with you, and hope you have a good weekend. All right?
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
That was Sanjeev, living in America, telling us about what it's like to be a vegetarian in America and general perceptions of it. We hope you enjoyed the podcast, and we'll be doing a lot more in the future. Thank you.
And don't forget that if you've got any ideas for a podcast, just make sure that don't forget that if you've got any ideas for a podcast, or if you want to join us for another one, just log in to our website www.centerforinnersciences.org, and center spelled with TER, and just go on contact us page, drop us a line, and we'd love to give you a call and have a casual chat. It would be fun. Have a good week. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.